Gee, Dustin, Jason, don't look now, but the Guardians have won 5 in a row, and they're back up to 500, just 2.5 games behind the Chicago White Sox for first place in the AL Central. Joe Adell continues to rack up ribbies. Jason, we were out on this team. We thought they were done. And now they're right back in the thick of things. Are you buying into this hot streak from the Guardians, and is it sustainable for a playoff push?
Yeah, it's sustainable. To speak for yourself, Bull and I were never fully out. We were wavering, but Bull was adamant. He still thought they were going to win the division.
He was talking. You were talking about Jason, the other Jay Crawford, who was on the Tigers payroll.
He's been out on them all year. Yeah, but I mean, listen, the Guardians are doing exactly what they needed to do. They've hit a soft spot in the schedule. They played well against the Rockies. They're playing well against the Angels out west. And this is the time to make hay. And, you know, I think I said coming back for the start of September, they should be in one of the wild card positions. And they are. They're, I think, third still. I think they're the third wild card right now. They're only 2.5 out in the division. They picked up another game last night. Parker Messick was great last night. Joe Adell had another RBI single. Adell's been exactly what this team needed. Bull and I loved the move at the time, and he's delivered exactly what we thought that he could as a power-hitting right-handed bat. It was good to see him go back to his old grounds last night and have RBI single and just continue to drive in runs and be that middle lineup run producer. So, yeah, this is real. Yes, this is sustainable. And I saw Mark DeRosa, I think, yesterday say, man, every year we count out the Guardians, and every year here they are in September. And it's like, yeah, when you guys going to figure it out that this team just has that thing? And, you know, it's not going to take a dramatic September comeback like they had last year. They're just hanging around, and they've set themselves up now for meaningful September baseball with a chance to win the division.
You know, Dustin, go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say like that. It's nice that they're back in it. I mean, they haven't beaten anybody impressively. I mean, they beat the Rockies, now the Angels, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
they're doing what they need to do.
Yeah, that's what they need to do.
Teams.
But they're gonna need to continue this.
Yeah,
and I don't know. I mean, do you guys think that this is who they're going to be? I mean, this is more sustainable? Do they need to make any more changes? Is there something Stephen Vogt can do with the lineup?
I'm actually more concerned with the bullpen.
Really?
Yeah, it's not the same dominant pen that it's been in the past. You know, Angel Henao has been terrific as a addition to the lineup, and yeah, listen, they're not going to score 7-8 runs a game. We know that. The starting pitching is excellent, but I still have concerns when we get into October. If they make October, I'm concerned about the bullpen.
You can still tell, you know, Jose Ramirez, you know, we talked about the hand, you know, he swings and the bat goes into the stands again. You know, you could tell, but he made a beautiful play at third base. So, you know, he's still not where he wants to be at, but you can still tell the hand is bothering him. But you can't say enough about Parker Messick. Like, the fact that he gets no run support in his last 10 starts, I think he gave up something like, I believe it's like 8 runs in his last 10 starts. And this guy is just like, to me, he might be at times their best pitcher. At times, I know we got Gavin Williams, but just the way he approaches the game, the way he goes after people, like you look at him and you don't think that he should be able to be that type of, you know, dominant pitcher.
Right.
But he just goes after people. Like, he is just tenacious when he's on the mound. Like, he play a certain style of baseball where he coming after you. He's not gonna play around with you. And you know, the Guardians always seem to find these dudes. So when you got him and you got Bybee and you got you know, Gavin Williams and Cantillo and some of those other guys, you're right. The bullpen hasn't been what it is, but you still have Cade Smith. So to me, if they can get any sort of run support, and thank God for Adell being able to be back here. I think it got 80 RBIs now. Something like that, 80 RBIs.
Yeah, 18 with the Guardians.
So, you know, can they still keep this up? Sure they can. The schedule is evening up. We wanted them to start hot earlier during this break because they had bad teams on the schedule. So I definitely think once you get back to 500, Jason and Dustin, do you think that's a psychological thing? Like, You know, it's like before halftime. Hey, we want to cut it to 10 before halftime, right?
You an Austin car?
Yeah, cut it to 10. You know, you feel good about
All right,
yourself.
gotta get it to 10.
Got to get it to 10. So if you get to stay 66 to 66, do you think that plays a role where you're like, okay, guys, let's get over the hump a little bit and let's start something big?
I think it certainly doesn't hurt. You know, I mean, if they were continuing to spiral when they're playing bad teams, which means, you know, that they would have lost, you know, several games to the Rockies and now with the Angels. But no, I mean, I think it definitely helps. If anything, it builds their confidence. They just got to keep it going. I mean, they don't have that hard of a schedule remaining.
Yeah.
Like, take care of business.
I listen, this should be a case study. I mean, I don't understand which Stephen Kwan is which. Is this the guy or the guy that we saw in the beginning of the season that we was like, I don't know what happened to him. Like he's also been a guy that's been on base, got another hit the other day. How can you in baseball? How do you turn it around like that? You know what I mean? He went to it was a point where they were moving him around in the order, Jason, and then he seemingly just figured it out.
Yeah, he's a streaky hitter. We've seen that before with the flirting with 400 for half the season and then sort of falling off. But what we've seen this year is unusual. Like normally, guys go like this. You have hot streaks, cold streaks. That's fine. But his are so wild and erratic that it's tough to know what you're going to get, you know, day to day with him. So
Right.
that's, I mean, obviously this version of Quan is people take it. It's just a matter of can he flatten out some of those slumps so that it's not as drastic as what it was early in the year. And I do think that there's something to. I think he's gone back to being the hitter that he was and stopped worrying about trying to hit the ball in the air and pull the ball down the line and hit the ball out and all that. And I think that he's sort of settled into being the player that we've seen him be and the player that he knows that he is, rather than trying to turn himself into something that he's not.
And by the way, shout out to Austin Hedges. When you start getting, we need to figure out. We might want to test you, bro. Where is Austin Hedges getting this random power from? Like he's
figured something out.
He put a charge into the baseball yesterday. I said, man, you gonna go to right center like that?
He's figured something out this year at the plate.
I mean,
it's
270.
so unusual. It's so unusual for a guy this late in his career. Like he's been around a long time, and obviously he's not talking about his adjustments, nor should he, frankly. But he has clearly figured something out. He worked on something over the winter, and he figured something out at the plate because he looks like a completely different hitter.
Usually you could chalk him up for an automatic out.
Right.
But the fact that he's batting 270 from when he was in the low ones, and he looks confident at the plate, he has power. It looks like, usually you thought he was just a defensive guy and he was going to manage the pitchers, but if he's going to continue to do that, we'll take it. I'll take them numbers any day from him, especially given where he was at a couple of years ago.
There's no pressure on that guy. I mean, literally, no one expects the catcher to do anything.
No.
So if he can provide some sort of offensive value, and if he found something, you said he figured something out, great.
We just need a couple dudes. It seemed like with the Guardians, at one point in time, Bazzana was cooking, and then DeLauder was cooking. But then it was Rocchio cooking. They haven't had 2 or 3 dudes put it together at once, where you get somebody where it's 2 or 3 guys in your lineup that are sizzling hot. And if they can catch that vibe, I think that they can really do some things. But it just seems like it's just been a bunch of one-offs where guys is hitting the baseball, seeing it, good at the plate, and then it kind of dissipates, and then another guy steps up. They need some guys to consistently get hot for a little bit of a stretch. And McNuggets, in terms of the wild card, where are they at? Is the path for them to get in the playoffs, strictly speaking, winning the division more likely, or where are they at in terms of the wild card?
If the season ended today, they'd be the 3rd wild card team. They are in the wild card as of today. Now, they're significantly behind New York and Boston for the first 2 wild card spots. They're 9 games behind the Yankees, 6.5 behind Boston.
Yeah, they're probably
and only
not
half a
catching
game
those.
up on Houston. But they should be, in my opinion, going and trying to win the AL Central.
Absolutely.
And then the fallback is that 3rd wild card spot. The Central is still wide open. They're 2.5 behind Chicago. They're catching up and making ground quickly. They've won 5 in a row. We've talked about the schedule. The AL Central is still very much up for grabs, and the fallback is that 3rd wild card spot. But you want to win the division. It sets you up for a deep playoff run because you wouldn't have to play New York or Tampa Bay, the 2 best teams in the American League, and you would have home field advantage. So Go get the division.
Yeah,
It's there. It's up for grabs.
Their best path is the division. They have more. I think they have another series with the White Sox in September, don't they? Do you know?
I can tell you in 1 sec.
I'm pretty sure they got one series left. That could be a pretty big series. But I mean, there's so many teams jumbled for that third wild card.
They do not play Chicago.
Oh, they
again.
don't? Okay.
Oh, they do. No, I lied. September 14th through the 16th
Okay.
at home versus Chicago.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be a really big series.
I like to be tied. I like to be tied by the time we get there.